Hello world, this is your host, Melody Garcia.
And I'm Janie Lacy.
Welcome to our podcast, Life Unscripted.
A podcast like none other, as we take you on a journey to share real-life stories of some of the most iconic influencers in the world who had broken the scripts that once chained them.
We will hear about their stories of breakdown to breakthroughs, golden wisdoms, and actions that took their life into meteoric levels.
Our goal is to always provide our listeners values and applications that will allow you to live your best life.
Welcome and enjoy our show. Welcome to Life Unscripted. Today I'm very excited to bring you modern-day Wonder Woman,
Vikki Johnson. She's an author, she's a speaker, she's an entrepreneur. She's been in media entertainment for over 20 years. So she is going to just be dropping the nuggets today.
And I promise you, you are going to want to take notes. So bring your journal, bring your notebook, grab a napkin if you don't have anything to write on, and get ready to unscript everything to become the best version of yourself. So guess what, listeners and viewers? We have ourselves a modern-day Wonder Woman today, and I'm really excited to have her, Janie.
We are super excited to have none other than Vikki Johnson. I met her almost 2 years ago at her grandfather's breakfast, who was being honored in Orlando, Florida. So I hope she shares a little bit of that history with us. So now she's become family, literally. So we're so excited to hear all about her adventures, what's inspired her book, like Counterfeit Love, and all the different projects she has going on, including her Soul Wealth for women. So welcome today, Vikki.
Thank you, Janie. Thank you, Melody.
You're very welcome. I'm excited, and guess what? We're still in Washington, D.C.
And it's a beautiful day.
Yes.
Beautiful day.
So here's my first question. Can you tell our audience a little bit more on the work that you're doing and what's your purpose of doing these things?
So which part of the work? Just kidding.
Yeah, modern day Wonder Woman.
Yeah, there we go.
My Soul Wealth community really is an outgrowth, or an evolution is a better word, of work I've been doing with women for over 30 years. I came to Howard University many years ago on a basketball scholarship and just decided to stay, originally from Florida, so I'm a Floridian.
Hey.
And here in Washington, D.C., decided to stay in this beautiful city and started doing work with women. Women have always really been my target and my passion. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, was an advocate for women. She was actually a counterpart of Dorothy Height. She was the national president of the National Council of Negro Women, Dorothy Height was, but my grandmother was the National Association of Colored Women's Clubs back in the 30s, 40s, 50s. So I've always had a passion for working with girls and women. I started my first girls club at the age of 10. So from 10 years old to now, it's been about empowering women and really building upon what my passion is, which is sacred sisterhood.
Beautiful. So there's been a rise of women empowerment. Especially, I actually had the honor of being part of the United States of Women Summit in 2018 and got to listen to Tarana Burke, founder of Me Too. Yes. And with that, gave women around the world, not just the United States, to stand on the platforms of their truth. But I'm going to ask you a hard question because in the process of standing for truth, a lot of men also then felt emasculated in the process because of this very powerful women front movement. In fact, one of my dear friends who's another world-renowned icon, right, said back in the days you had no problem hugging somebody and saying, how are you doing? Now you have to be careful. It's a side hug or just a handshake because of the sleuth of lawsuits, even if it's just going, he hugged me, it was too tight, or I didn't welcome that hug. So what can you share about your wisdoms in this? Because women's empowerment is beautiful. At the same time, it created all this other lawsuits to come forth that is outside the things that we normally have been seeing in the past.
Well, I think it's a delicate balance. I think it is positive and positive, right? Not positive and negative, because I believe that women are really returning to their rightful place, which means there needs to be a return to balance between men and women. So that is what is happening. That integration is never easy, it's never smooth. There are a lot of bumps. And so my work is to empower women to evolve
That's the word
into
right there.
who they are. And when they reach that point, then the integration really becomes seamless because it's not gender-based, it's not role-based, it's evolution-based, which is different. It's a different way of thinking. And the ultimate goal is ascended living, which is what I really strengthen women to do in their own lives first and then in the marketplace. So soul wealth is vision, it's compassion, authenticity, abundance, and legacy. First in your life and then in the lives of other people, because you can't give away what you don't have. So my work is to, I don't like to say empower, but just support women as they become great in the mirror first and then in the marketplace.
I love that.
Beautiful.
Great in the mirror
then
first.
the marketplace.
And I love the evolutional thinking. You know, with your work with women relationships are very difficult, and a lot of times it can be very toxic. So when you look with the work that you've done over the years, what are some key points that you can share with women to be able to have that sisterhood, which you've explained as part of your vision, and keeping that strong and healthy and getting away from that toxicity that we can often see with women?
Well, the first thing I say is you attract who you are. So whoever is around you, those people are your mirrors for that moment. Toxicity can't survive around me because I'm not a toxic person. I will lovingly confront you and you're either going to deal with that or disappear, basically. So my first thing is, who are you? And what areas do you need to evolve in so that you can then begin attracting different types of people to build healthier relationships? Hands down, I don't care what context, you attract who you are. So I played basketball. That's actually how I got here. I came to Howard on a basketball scholarship. So whether it's on the court, I pledged a sorority, you know, been in entertainment for 38 years, worked at BET for 18 years, and now work for the entertainment office here for the city government. So in every context, you attract who you are. And the ultimate goal is to be the atmosphere shifter. So when I show up, the atmosphere has to shift one way or another. You know, so I like to say to women, who misses you when you're not around? Or are they glad, right? You're gone. So that's key for me, is becoming the person you want to be in relationship with, any type of relationship.
Becoming the person that you want to be, and you will attract who you are.
Absolutely.
Powerful
Mirror.
nuggets. Yes.
So she just dropped a load of nuggets and wisdoms, but we already know from our Life Unscripted journey, this is not because you were born with this overnight.
Right.
So what was the deepest pain that became a catalyst to where you are today?
The very first memory of pain, oh, don't mind the children, that's just the high school down the street.
We are Life Unscripted. We are outside.
We are organic.
With the flow. The first pain was my parents getting divorced I was 9 years old. So that's the original wound that I think I had to evolve from. Because from that point, every decision I made was based on that experience. So in my mid-30s, I started doing some work and was able to go back and heal that little girl, which helped me to make different decisions, you know, around relationship. I got married, was married for 15 years, and so then the next wound I would say that really altered my life was getting a divorce. My first marriage ending in divorce. And after that, I was like, the only way now is up, right? So it's been up from there, and life is good. But the earliest memory I have is my parents getting divorced at 9 years old. And that also, though, became my classroom to watch my mom as a single mother in the 70s and 80s. Like, single motherhood then was not what it is now. you know, very different. And so I've often had to reflect on her strength and her resourcefulness and just her resilience to get me through whatever I've gone through over the last, 53 years. Proud to say that.
Wow, okay, so that was completely in 53 years.
Yeah.
I don't believe that, but okay, we're going to go with it. No, but what a beautiful journey. What has been your biggest lessons, learning moments in those breakdowns, and those a lot of nights that you were crying, probably betrayals, rejections, right? We can go on and on, adversities. But what has been your biggest lessons?
That I don't have to do anything.
Explain.
Every moment we live at choice. And so when you're the middle child like I am, and I am a stereotypical middle child, like the peacekeeper, peacemaker, taking care of everybody else, people pleasing. Can't we all just get along? At my expense, at the expense of my peace frequently. And so one of my greatest awarenesses was that I don't have to do anything. Every moment I live at choice. And so the question becomes, what do I want to do? And I'll sum it up this way, really, and I share this every opportunity. Maybe several years ago, watching Dr. Oz, he was talking about women and heart health. And he said, barring a traumatic injury or an accident or something like that, every single human was born with a certain number of heartbeats. And barring a trauma, injury, accident, when your heartbeats have been exhausted, you die of natural causes. And in that moment, because I can get a message from anything, I can look at the sky right now and the clouds and get a message. I had the thought, wow. So from this moment forward, everything I do has to be worth one of my heartbeats.
I love that.
Because I can't get it back.
We could so write a book,
right?
I know.
just on this episode alone. Between the mirror, between now, every moment of your life is a heartbeat, right? On how time is just so valuable, and that you don't have to do anything, but you have a choice to do something. I'm going to love this episode because I'm going to be rewinding it and taking notes.
Absolutely. And when I hear about a heartbeat, I can't help but to think about your book, Counterfeit Love. You know, being a psychotherapist and seeing lots of women have toxic love and love addiction. So what inspired you, whether from your own story, or what were the takeaways that women can take away when they think about counterfeit love and how that affects us as women?
Oh, again, that have to, right? Every chapter in that book is a piece of my life. And my greatest classroom is my life. Right? My wisdom comes from experience. So the takeaway for women, again, is to get to know who you are authentically so that you can attract your reflection. Addicted to Counterfeit Love is about looking for love in all the wrong places, to put it very succinctly. And the end result of that, the pain of that, and when you have become sick and tired of suffering unnecessarily because of choices that you've made, then you come into alignment with your authentic self. You begin to attract that partner or those friendships based on that work of healing that you've done. And you begin to also attract people into your life from a place of love and health and healing, instead of attracting someone who's as broken as you are. And now you suffer together. And your suffering is compounded. So that's the takeaway from that book. And it has been a tremendous blessing to a lot of people.
And I could see why, right? I could see why. And you know, in such a world that we live in, where everybody seems to have turned over as an overnight life coach and guru of everything, how do we decipher the authenticity? Because you had delivered some very powerful messages today. Things that I personally treasure, wisdom shares that are original and authentic. How do we decipher what is real and what is fake? We call it the Instagram life, right, Janie?
Yes.
The Instagram life. Everything is so perfect. You know, the cheesy smile, the filters that we use, and you know, nothing's wrong with that for fun. Until you start thinking that that is actually your life, or the perception of the public is that your life is perfect. How do we continue to promote our original messages?
Show up authentically. I go back to authenticity, which is a tenet of soul wealth. And time has a big mouth, right? Time has a big mouth. So you have to be willing to walk away when it's necessary. You have to be willing to interrupt when it's required. You have to be willing to intervene, you know, if there is a responsibility as such. But I'm in media. I'm in, you know, so social media is a tool of who I am. But I encourage women, and it's a part of Soul Wealth, to spend a lot of time offline, to decompress, to immerse in your life, right? Anybody can pay for followers. Anybody can get a ring light on Amazon, and, you know, every picture is a photo shoot. But then when people follow you home, who are you? And that is the work that I'm blessed to do, is to challenge women. Who are you? If we follow you home, is it consistent? Does your reality, is it seamless from online to offline? And if it's not, that gap is your work to do.
I love that. That gap is your work. You know, so you mentioned about your experience in media. So right now there are so many with reality shows, and there's so many women in media. I mean, what are common mistakes that you would see that women make as they're trying to rise to the stardom of media, using social media, using all these reality shows, in order to really keep their integrity alive? I mean, what are some mistakes that women can make? Too many to name.
We don't have enough time, so I will give you one that, you know, I encourage even my daughter, who's 25, who wants to be in the industry, and I'm okay with that. It took me 37 years to become an overnight success. There is no such thing. Yeah, a person may have a hit song, but they've been writing music for 20 years. They may have a great career, but you don't see the hours, you know, the driving cross town in rush hour traffic to get to your next set, to do another segment, another show. You know, people evaluate who you are based on the chapter of your life they entered. And everybody has a story. Everybody has a backstory. Everybody came from somewhere. So overnight success is not real. You know, reality TV is not reality. It's actually very contrived. Everybody's reality is different. And reality TV, you know, kind of warps that.
So pretty much what you're saying is going back to staying true to who you are, being authentic, walking in integrity. And it almost sounds like you're also saying to walk with blinders on, is looking at your mission and your vision, and not doing the comparison games. Absolutely. I think women can get caught up in that, especially in the media space.
Absolutely. Right. And as we come to a close of Life Unscripted, once again, 100 years from now, how would you like to be remembered?
That she made a difference in my life. You know, I want to leave people better than they were when they first met me. And I want people to be able to say, that girl died empty. She did everything. You know, if it's in your mind, it's in your future. And that's how I live. You know, no day is the same. Every day is different. Every day is unscripted. Pun intended.
Yes.
It certainly is.
And again, as we come to a close, remember, to get to the best version of yourself is to live your life unscripted. This is your host, Melody Garcia.
And I'm Janie Lacy. Until next time.
Thank you for tuning in to Life Unscripted. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review.
For more information and how you can be a guest on our show, send us an email at lifeunscriptedjm@gmail.com. Until next time, this is your host, Melody Garcia
and Janie Lacy.